Jeffrey Dahmer, the Milwaukee cannibal. Every crime has a story, and every killer has a motive. From chilling confessions to unsolved mysteries, true crime reveals the darkest corners of human nature. What drives someone to kill? Let's uncover the truth behind the most shocking cases. Introduction. Narrator. In the history of American crime, few names send shivers down the spine like Jeffrey Dahmer. A man whose heinous crimes shocked the nation, Dahmer's story is one of loneliness, compulsion, and unimaginable horror. Over a period of 13 years, he lured, tortured, and murdered 17 young men, leaving behind a legacy of terror and unanswered questions. But how did a shy, awkward boy from Ohio grow into one of the most notorious serial killers of all time? This is the true story of Jeffrey Dahmer, the Milwaukee cannibal. The making of a monster. Narrator. Born on May 21, 1960, in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Jeffrey Lionel Dahmer seemed like an ordinary child. But beneath his quiet demeanor lurked disturbing tendencies that would later manifest into something far more sinister. Archival footage of interviews with neighbors, teachers, and psychiatrists. Expert interview. Dahmer's early years were marked by a fascination with dead animals. He would collect and dissect roadkill, a behavior that many serial killers display in childhood. Narrator. As he grew older, Jeffrey became increasingly isolated. He struggled with his parents' failing marriage, his own sexuality, and a growing obsession with control and dominance. Star. First blood scene. Transition to 1978, summer after high school graduation. Narrator. On June 18, 1978, Jeffrey Dahmer committed his first murder. His victim was 18-year-old Stephen Hicks, a hitchhiker Dahmer lured into his home under the pretense of drinking beer. Reenactment of Dahmer and Hicks drinking, followed by a sudden attack with a dumbbell. Narrator. After killing Hicks, Dahmer panicked. He dismembered the body, dissolved parts in acid, and scattered the remains in his backyard. This was the beginning of a terrifying killing spree. Star. Escalation and the Milwaukee apartment. Fast forward to the late 1980s and early 1990s, scenes of Milwaukee city life, nightclub exteriors, darkened apartment interiors. Narrator. For nearly a decade, Dahmer kept his urges under control, until 1987. That year, he killed again, this time in a hotel room. Soon, his methods became more calculated, his crimes more gruesome. Expert interview. Dahmer's murders had a ritualistic element. He would drug his victims, strangle them, and then commit unspeakable acts on their bodies. Narrator. Dahmer was not just killing, he was experimenting. His obsession with control led him to attempt zombification, drilling holes into his victims' skulls and injecting acid, hoping to create submissive, mindless partners. Reenactment of police knocking on Dahmer's door, him calmly greeting them, the smell of decay filling the air. Star. Escape and capture. Narrator. On July 22, 1991, Tracy Edwards, a 32-year-old man, fled Dahmer's apartment and led police straight to the killer's lair. Detective interview. When we walked into that apartment, it was like stepping into a nightmare. There were Polaroids of dismembered bodies. A human head in the fridge. The smell was unbearable. Narrator. The reign of terror had finally come to an end. Star. Trial and death. Narrator. Jeffrey Dahmer was charged with 17 counts of murder. He pled guilty but insane, yet the jury found him legally sane and sentenced him to 16 life terms, over 900 years in prison. Narrator. On November 28, 1994, Dahmer was beaten to death by fellow inmate Christopher Scarver. Some saw it as justice served, others as a tragic end to a deeply disturbed mind. Conclusion: the legacy of evil narrator, the case of Jeffrey Dahmer remains one of the most disturbing in criminal history. It forces us to ask difficult questions. What creates a killer? How do we prevent such horrors? And most hauntingly, could there be others like him out there? Narrator: this has been Jeffrey Dahmer, the Milwaukee Cannibal. Subscribe for more true crime documentaries, and let us know in the comments what case we should cover next.